Okay, now we're recording. Okay, great. So welcome. So my name is Mr. Gus El-Mashni, and I am the statistics teacher for your children. And let me share my screen so you could see my little slideshow here. So this is statistics again, and that's my email address and my Zoom link. The Zoom link is actually different than the one that was shared with you for this back to school night presentation, but they both work. If you ever need to get a hold of me or you want to meet on Zoom, I do apologize that we can't actually have this in person. I wish we could. I was actually looking forward to seeing many of you guys in person, but you know, hopefully when we do conferences, those will be in person. Or if you ever want to meet with me, we could totally schedule something. So for tonight, I'm just going to talk a bit about myself, what is statistics, my teaching methodology, resources that will be made available to your children, and then kind of quickly take you through Schoology, the instruction policy and syllabus, our homework check-ins, which is a way of providing formative assessment, making sure that they're actually staying on top of the material. And if you have any questions at the end, no one's been asking any questions. I think a lot of people are a bit zoomed out, so I totally get it. That's fine. But if you have questions, you totally feel free to ask them. So about me, so this is my 17th year at Sacred Heart. I started here in fall 2005. Lots of history. Actually, I'm sitting here in our classroom in Campbell. Prior to this, I was in the Siegel building for the longest time. I remember actually I was able to see the Circus Club before we had all these buildings. We had like a lot more open space. So definitely, I was kind of at the crossroads when we finally started raising money and building all these buildings and stuff like that. I'm a big sports fan from the Bay Area. I love the Giants. So you can see below that was me and a few friends. That was a 2014 World Series against, I think, Game 4 against Kansas City Royals. Hopefully we'll get back. I do see that we're up 5-1 right now, so that's great. I also love football. Up above are my fantasy football trophies, which I love. It's kind of a weird obsession that drives my wife nuts. But then when I win money, she doesn't complain so much. And actually, the trophy on the right I have right now, won it back last year. So I do this with my brother and a few friends, and that's Andrew Luck in the background. I love Stanford football. That's my college team. I got 2 small children, so obviously I can't watch too much sports because my kids keep me busy. That's William in front. He's about to turn 5 this fall, and that's Madeline. She's all about to turn 2. Their birthdays are actually 9 days apart, so we have to get creative with how we're going to do birthday parties. We actually, I think, already established a joint birthday party for this year. When they want their own, we'll deal with that. And that's just my wife, Christine, and that's us taking Madeline home from the hospital. She actually is a pandemic baby because she was born right before the pandemic started. And sadly, when we were able to have her, you know, she was able to meet people, we couldn't. So she actually hasn't met, she actually met a lot of my family. Not like last month was the first time she saw my uncles and aunts. So, you know, just crazy how that all went down. And that's William when he was younger. I don't need to tell you this, but, you know, obviously these kids do grow up fast. That's myself and William at the big game between Stanford and Cal. And I'm going to try and make a tradition. I take him to every time Stanford hosts. I don't care about going to Berkeley, but every time Stanford hosts, we did go in 2019, and then hopefully we'll go this year. So, and that's just him crying. I don't know why he was crying, but anyway. So now it's good to talk about statistics, right? That's the second half of this, enough about me, about the course. So this is the textbook we have for the class. I do actually scan copies of the book in case if your children can't bring the book to school. And actually, I don't want to bring it to school. So if they happen to be stuck on campus for sports or other events, they'll always have access to you know, pages from the book in Schoology. And what is statistics? So I like to kind of think this is more of like a data science type class. For those who are familiar with data science, it's kind of a mixture of like business, statistics, and a bit of like computer programming. And we're all going to be working on modeling. That's actually going to be a big part of this class. So right now we're starting with the basics because they have to understand, like, you know, mean, median, normal distribution, hypothesis testing, a bit of probability. So there's gonna be a lot of nuts and bolts that we have to go through first. The hope is that by the time we get to Thanksgiving, that we start doing more project-based stuff. And the project-based stuff is going to be including some software packages like Tableau, as well as R, the programming language. I really want to make sure that when your children get out of this, when they finish this class, that they actually feel like they have something they could potentially put on a resume. Like, hey, I can actually do data visualization through Tableau. Oh, I can actually, you know, analyze data using R, not just Excel. Of course, they'll learn Excel and Google spreadsheets, but I want to make sure they walk away like feeling they've developed some practical skills. I wasn't able to do that last year because we lost so much time and we had so much disruption. So I really kind of had to cut some corners. But the fact that here we are in person, even if we do go remote for a brief while, we have a schedule that's static. So we're going to stick to it, and we're going to have a lot of time to work together. So that is kind of my hope, is that they walk out of this having a love for statistics and maybe pursuing a degree or maybe a program in data science. And then just showing some resources really quickly here. So here's our Schoology page. I do try to keep this pretty well organized. I do have to populate the other folders, but I break them down by units. I do have actually an electronic version of the textbook they can access here. And I'm not a full-time teacher. I teach 75%, mainly just so I'm more present for my family at home. And I've told your children that, like, there are some days I may not be on campus, and I do share this document with them. It's actually a live document that they can click here. So some days I only teach Tuesday, Thursday, so I'm not on campus on those Mondays and Fridays. Other weeks I'm here all 5 days. But if there's a day I'm not on campus and they still want to see me, I'm still available for office hours on Zoom or outside of that. If they just say, I just need to meet and talk about something, I could totally make that happen. Not a problem at all. Of course, 6 to 8 p.m. is the sacred time where I have to take care of dinner time and bedtime routine with my kids. But other than that, I try to make myself as available as I can be for your children. But and then we have the instructional policy and syllabus, which basically talks about how I go about this course, and how the grading's done. We do have assessments. We do have a project at the end. The assessments are pretty short. We actually had a test last week, and we'll have another test in about 3 weeks. The syllabus actually shows all the test dates and the topics we're covering. In case you're curious, this is what we're covering. And the hope is that right before we get to Thanksgiving, I'm done covering all the material I want for the fall semester, and then we do projects. Then the second semester we'll cover more topics and do another project. And the project will involve using data visualization tools like Tableau, and of course analysis tools like R. So that's kind of the hope, is that they do get some hands-on experience working with data and working with numbers. Myself personally, I actually just completed another master's degree in data science. Did it all online. Started right before the pandemic and before my daughter was born, and I just wrapped up my thesis. So it's something I'm really passionate about. And I've actually done this work. I actually did work as a data scientist for the school for a couple of years before the pandemic. Then pandemic kind of changed things where I was more, needed more in the classroom. But I have shared some projects with these students, like showing how you actually can do this in the real life, and how this is actually a career that you can have. So that's kind of my hope, is to kind of make this contagious, that they the excitement for working with numbers. And of course I do some sports because that's just my personal interest. But there's also applications in politics and government and health, finance. And so the project hopefully will be a project that they're choosing where they just choose a topic they're interested in. There's things we could do with COVID, and I'll probably do some projects on that because that lends itself well to data, and kind of ties into the goals, like with social awareness and whatnot. So we're at 7:15 now. I don't want to keep you guys. I know you guys have still 3 more presentations. Fortunately, I'm all done, and my voice is almost shot, so I think I'm ready to pack up and go home. But if you have any questions, please feel free to stay by. If not, I wish you guys a great evening, and then hopefully we do get a chance to finally meet in person. And if you ever want to talk to me on the phone, Zoom, or in person, I'm available. Just shoot me an email and we'll make it happen. And I wish you guys all the best with all the rest of your presentations tonight.
Thank you. People are dropping fast, but I'm Riley's mom, and I just thank you for putting a practical